The whole world expects me to kill the inactivated Spider Queen, but I turned around, knelt down, and proposed to her. Just as the Spider Girl was about to lose control, I grabbed the 10 yuan diamond ring and slipped it onto her ring finger, then looked at her with utmost devotion. "You're the most beautiful spider I've ever seen. Will you marry me?" The white-haired pig girl wearing the proposal ring was instantly stunned. She squatted down, her countless legs all tangled up. 2.5 seconds later, she came back to her senses. She giggled to herself. "Heh, I just got proposed to." Seeing the pig girl's slightly yandere smile, I instantly got cold feet. I turned around ready to run for it. After all, I'm just an ordinary adventurer. But the spider didn't give me any chance to back out. She shot a strand of spider silk to tie us together. As more and more spider silk wrapped around us, she locked me in a simple small room. There were only the two of us in the room. Just when I thought I was totally done for, I suddenly realized in shock, the spider girl sitting on top of me had turned into a white-haired girl at some point. Before I even had time to react, the girl threw herself into my arms. She kept asking against my chest, "That marriage thing you said just now, is it for real?" Seeing the situation, I couldn't really turn her down. I was afraid of making her unhappy and losing my life because of it, so I had to agree first. After getting my positive answer, the white cat girl blushed shyly. "Let's get married right now, then." Then she closed her eyes and leaned towards me, feeling her warmth. I was startled in my heart. I couldn't believe it no matter what. That me, a simp who'd failed proposals in times, could actually get a wife so smoothly. Even though this wife is a monster girl, but luckily she's exactly my type. This made me, who was reborn, feel long-lost happiness ever since I came to this world. I found out I was different from everyone else. Other people in this isekai world can all gain EXP and level up by killing monsters, but I can't. Just because I have a unique EXP system, I have to raise favorability with the opposite sex. To gain EXP, this stupid freaking system totally stumped me, who'd been single for 30 years since birth. Even if I swallowed my pride and confessed to all the women in the whole town, I only barely made it to level 23. But proposing to all the taken girls everywhere made all the wronged guys in the town furious. My reputation got worse and worse, so I had to go out only after dark, to avoid getting hit by small rocks as a prank. But during this period of time, I barely took any quests. Because I don't dare go out during the day, when I get to the Adventurers Guild after dark, all the good quests are already taken by others. Seeing my savings are almost running out. I have to go out no matter what today. But since I've been hiding at home these days, I had no idea a disaster was hanging over the whole town. I just thought the streets were weirdly quiet, even though this abnormal situation made me a little flustered. But life has to go on, right? Even if the end of the world comes, I still have to eat, right? So I bit the bullet and went to the Adventurers Guild, hoping to take a quest at the same time and ask about what's been happening lately. But as soon as I entered the guild, I was attracted by the golden quest sheet on the wall. I didn't even notice the whole guild was already empty. Wow, golden legend. Drawn in by the quest sheet, I immediately showed my strength as the king of quest snatching. I dashed over and tore the quest off the wall and slammed it on the reception counter with the loud slap sound. The counter that was originally empty. Somehow, a reception lady popped up from under it. "Congratulations, Mr. Ron. You've grabbed the golden quest to subjugate the Spider Queen." I was totally dumbfounded after hearing that. Spider Queen? Isn't that a high-level monster over level 300? Seeing that I didn't seem to understand the situation, the reception lady kindly explained the quest background to me. Turns out there's a giant Spider Queen that destroyed the nearby cities and is heading towards the town I'm in. All the villagers who knew the news already ran for their lives. Suddenly I felt the golden quest sheet in my hand. Was like a hot potato. I tentatively said to Shirley, who was writing with her head down, "Can I cancel this quest? I don't want to do it anymore." "No, absolutely not." "Why, can't I just quit? This is a quest issued by the royal family. It can't be canceled. Ron, you'd better head out to do the quest now. Then what happens if I run away and don't do it? You'll be wanted by the royal family and hunted by other adventurers. Damn it, how could this happen? But if I go to subjugate that calamity giant spider, it's certain death. I'm kind of pissed off. They're obviously setting me up to get killed. That's so unfair. I need to see the guildmaster." Sherry lowered her head when she heard that. The guildmaster also ran off to escape the disaster. Wait, what? Even the guildmaster ran away? Hearing Sherry say even the guildmaster bailed, I realized how serious the situation was. Is the whole town gonna get abandoned? But Sherry didn't run away. That really confused me. Sherry, why didn't you escape? Or did you stay just to mess me up? Sherry hurriedly defended herself when she heard that. I didn't stay to hurt you, Mr. Ron. She stumbled over her words, getting more and more anxious. She was so upset she started crying. If I leave this town, I'll never find another job. Her situation is exactly the same as mine, isn't it? But why can't Sherry find another job? Wait, is it? I glanced at Sherry. The really noticeable blue birthmark on her upper left face. And I basically figured out why. Before this, I'd noticed she seemed insecure about that birthmark. So when I interacted with her, I was always super careful with what I said. I never even joked about proposing or anything, afraid the sensitive girl would take it seriously and do something stupid out of despair. But I never would have guessed that Sherry thought she was so ugly that she was ready to go down with the town. Just as I was about to say something, Sherry suddenly sobbed. Mr. Ron, you should run away right now. I'll cancel the quest for you. If anyone asks questions later, I'll say I registered it wrong. I'll take all the punishment myself. That's not okay. I'm the one who accepted the quest. I can't let you get punished for it. Sherry got more and more agitated as she spoke. None of that matters anymore, right? So just run, Mr. Ron, please. I've known this whole time that you're actually a really good guy, Mr. Ron. Even if you are a perv and a total playboy, and you hit on girls everywhere you go, even though Sherry roasted me hard just now, I was still really touched. I decided I had to do something, instead of just running away like a coward, so I made up my mind. No matter what, I'm gonna finish this quest. So I comforted Sherry. You won't get punished. I'm gonna go beat that stupid giant spider. Real good. When Sherry heard I was gonna fight the giant spider, she yelled anxiously, No way, Mr. Ron. You'll die if you go. What are you talking about? Sherry, I'm the strongest fighter in this whole town. Just stay here and wait for my good news, okay? After I said that, I left the guild all cool and casual, leaving Sherry alone, blushing like crazy as she watched my back. Wait, is this what love feels like? 2.5 hours later, I followed the info given in the quest and arrived at the cave where the giant spider was hiding. In the dim light of my torch, I could barely make out spider webs all over the ground and blood-stained gear belonging to adventurers. Looks like I'm at the right place. This is it. I summoned my courage and kept going deeper. Right as I was about to enter the cave, the monster inside sensed my presence and made some rustling noises. My torch was suddenly doused, and I was instantly plunged into total darkness. Next, 6 glowing red dots came flying at me, leaving streaks behind them. Wait, are those the giant spider's eyes? I jumped out of my skin from fright. I used the dodge move I just learned, a forward roll, and avoided the attack from the 6 red dots. A loud crashing sound echoed out. I heard rock shattering and falling to the ground. If that attack had hit me, I'd be crushed to bits right now. What am I gonna do? This giant spider is super fast and vicious, plus it's dark right now. This is totally its turf. Forget about defeating it. I'm not even good enough to polish its feet. I didn't get time to regret my decision. Those 6 red dots came charging at me again. Side roll, forward roll. I was rolling all over the ground like a madman and fought the monster for several rounds. All that rolling made me run out of stamina. I thought if I don't catch my breath right now, I'm dead for sure if it attacks again. But something unexpected happened. From where the 6 red dots were, I also heard faint panting sounds. Wait, the giant spider gets out of breath too? And just like that, me and the monster were on opposite ends of the cave. Both of us were huffing and puffing. Time flew by really fast. When the monster and I were happily rolling on the ground, dawn crept up on us quietly, which meant this was no longer the giant spider's turf. Sunlight lit the cave up to a weird dim state. Not quite dark, not quite bright. Still huffing, I made a surprising discovery. I could actually see my own hands. Then I lifted my head up to see what the hell I'd been tussling with this whole time. A snow-white giant spider came straight into view. I sucked in a sharp breath. Aren't I the guy who practically dies just looking at a spider? Before I transmigrated, if a palm-sized spider showed up in front of me, I would have run like my ass was on fire. But right now, a white spider bigger than a tank was right there in front of my eyes. My arachnophobia kicked in instantly. I spasmed and collapsed straight to the ground. Wait, hold on, don't pass out yet. When I glanced at the giant spider just now, I think I spotted something weird. I swear I saw a white-haired, red-eyed girl standing on top of the giant spider. Am I just that desperate for a white-haired chick? No way, I have to check for sure. So I used my thirst for white-haired girls. To push down my arachnophobia, I did a kip-up and jumped back to my feet. Oh, so that's what's going on. A suddenly enlightened smile spread across my face. The spider had the top half of a white-haired girl growing out of it. After figuring out the truth, I closed my eyes and passed out again. Even though there was a white-haired girl, her real body was still a spider, for God's sake. Right after I tilted my neck and passed out, the white-haired spider girl slowly moved over. She stared at me curiously, stuck out one spider leg to poke my face tentatively. Even when I was passed out, my body could sense the spider getting close. I instinctively pulled out my sword and slashed at it, which also woke me up completely. The spider girl was super agile too. The spider silk under her pulled her back really fast, and she landed back on the ceiling. When I woke up, I saw the spider girl's face up close. She was a girl with long white hair and red eyes. She looked absolutely stunning. Total heartthrob. Even though my XP was tingling, the second I remembered her lower half was a spider. I shook my head, but the image of that beautiful white-haired girl was stuck in my head. I couldn't get rid of it. After thinking back and forth, I came to a conclusion. Come on, a guy should at least give it a shot. And that's how we got to the start of the story, where I worked up the courage to confess to her. But I really didn't expect the spider girl would turn into a soft, cute girl in my arms and agree to my confession so smoothly. I even thought the spider girl just wanted to suck me dry and then eat me. But looking at this goddess-like white-haired girl, I finally gave up resisting. If I can get with a girl like this even once, I'd have no regrets in life. Bring it on. I pulled her into my arms. After 2 hours of making out, I woke up from my dazed state. I looked at the white-haired girl in my arms, then quickly felt my entire body, and was shocked to find I hadn't been eaten. After confirming I was safe, there was another thing I really wanted to check. How much EXP do you get from doing the deed anyway? I immediately opened my status panel. What? I leveled up 100 times? After a whole night of special training with the white-haired spider girl, I was stunned to find my level had actually reached level 103. How does the EXP calculation even work here? Is doing the deed really that OP? But anyway, that was absolutely incredible just now. I'll spare you the details of the process. Long story short, it was freaking awesome. Go read the original if you want to know what happened. I turned my gaze back to the white-haired girl. I really hit the jackpot this time. I got a free wife for one thing. I also leveled up to over 100. Aren't I basically unbeatable now? On top of that, after finishing this quest, I even get a £100 reward. I hit peak life right at the start. I just hope the Wang family keeps their word and doesn't bail on paying me. Just when I was daydreaming about my perfect life, the spider girl suddenly woke up. She poked me with her finger. Am I awake? I asked my wife what I should call her. I didn't want to make awkward small talk, but I had to know her name, right? Leah is my name. What's your name, Master? Don't call me Master. Just call me Ron. A gurgling sound rang out. Both of our stomachs were growling at the same time. I feel hungry. Hunger reminds me of a terrifying question. I asked tentatively, Leah, you don't eat humans, do you? Henria puffs out her cheeks and argues, I'm not a monster. I would never eat people. Hearing Leah say she's not a monster, I can't help wondering what exactly I was trembling in fear of earlier. If it was a spider, wouldn't I be even braver than Xu Xian? Everyone says Xu Xian is a reckless hero. Then wouldn't I be the Sun Warrior? Right then, Leah tells me very openly everything about herself. Leah's family is fully human. Her ancestors were highly respected grand mages, but they went down the wrong path and accidentally got cursed, which turned all their clansmen into spiders. Even their descendants inherited this curse. But their smart ancestors developed a spell that can temporarily seal the curse. So her entire clan can switch between spider and human forms freely. After learning Leah is human, I actually feel a tiny bit disappointed. Am I some kind of perv who likes non-human creatures? I shake my head to deny that thought. But the intel said Leah destroyed an entire city. But the Leah in my arms doesn't look like a mass-murdering monster at all. I ask Leah about this again. Sure enough, Leah completely denies the intel. She says she almost got sold by human traffickers, so she turned into her spider form to scare them off. After that, she was scared of bad guys, so she hid in the forest. That whole destroying a city thing? Leah has no idea about that at all. Both sides have their own stories. But I decide to believe Leah, because Leah is my wife. I don't give a crap about the other humans in this world. I've asked pretty much all my questions. I say to Leah, Leah, let's go get something to eat. Food sounds great, but I don't have any clothes. It's okay. I say as I drape my cloak over Leah's shoulders. I'll take you to buy clothes after we eat. Then I lead Leah out of the cave. I feel bad seeing her barefoot, so I pick Leah up and hold her in my arms. 2.5 minutes later, we arrive at the Adventurers Guild. Then I put Leah down. The guild is still empty as expected, but Shirley should still be here. I call out loudly. Shirley! Shirley! I'm back! Shirley pokes her head out from behind the counter. Ron, is that really you? Of course it's me. I came back to report on the mission and pick up my 100 gold coins. Did you really defeat that evil disaster spider? Hearing this, Ron turns to glance at Leah next to him, then nods at Shirley and says, Yep. She was super tough to deal with, but I spent the whole night winning her over. I'm totally worn out. After hearing that, Shirley's eyes are filled with admiration. You must have had it so hard. Mr. Ron, you're the great hero of our town. Leah under the hood also hears the conversation and stomps hard on my foot with her bare little foot. I know Leah is a little mad now. I then say to Shirley, So my 100 gold coins, when can I get them? Shirley says seriously, Mr. Ron, don't worry. I'll contact them right away to send someone to verify, and we'll notify you to come get the money as soon as we have the result. Shit, that's such a hassle, but it makes sense, I guess. After all, it's a 100 gold coin reward. Shirley immediately walks out from behind the counter and heads upstairs. She's probably going to contact the Royal Commissioner. While Shirley is upstairs reporting, I decide to take Leah to buy clothes and shoes, and then have a nice meal. Then I suddenly remember, I never thought I'd come back alive. So I spent all my leftover money on dried fish for that troublesome cat girl I have at home. I literally have 0 money on me right now. Am I gonna let Leah go hungry? She's already been hungry for a few days, it seems. Just when I'm feeling stuck, there's a noise from upstairs. Shirley comes downstairs with a spring in her step. She says to me happily, I've contacted everyone. They'll come to the site to verify tomorrow, and they'll deliver the reward to the guild the day after tomorrow at the latest. What, I have to wait till the day after tomorrow? My tone sounds super anxious. That catches Shirley's attention. Oh, do you need money urgently, Mr. Ron? Sort of. I just don't have money for food. Hey, Shirley, can you lend me some money? Oh, I see. Mr. Ron, wait a second. I'll go get it for you. Thank you so much. Thanks for the trouble, Shirley. No problem at all. I only got to keep my job thanks to Ron anyway. If I can help Ron out, I'm really happy about it. With that, Shirley turned and walked to her room. Being so deeply appreciated by Shirley, I actually felt a little guilty. That made me even more afraid to tell anyone the truth about the giant spider subjugation quest. 'Cause I didn't fight at all the whole time. I was just toughing it out the whole way. In a way, I guess that counts as fighting too, right? Just as I was blushing for no real reason, Shirley handed me the money pouch with both hands. I took it without any hesitation. Shirley, as soon as I get my reward the day after tomorrow, I'll come pay you back right away. No need, this money is for you, Mr. Ron. Just take it as a thank you gift. Oh, that's so not okay. I'm definitely paying you back this money. This is all your hard-earned cash, you know? Hearing Ron care about her like that, Shirley was really touched. After all, she barely had any friends, and no one ever really cared about her. While we were chatting, Shirley kept staring at Leah next to me. She finally couldn't hold it back anymore. So she asked me, Ron, who's this? She's my girlfriend. Her name is Leah. Girlfriend? Since when? Why haven't I seen her before? Hearing Shirley's 3 straight questions, I had no idea how to brush it off for a second. But Shirley spoke first. I'm sorry. Mr. Ron, I shouldn't have asked so many questions. Shirley didn't know when it started, but she'd suddenly started caring about me this much. She could only apologize over and over to hide the flustered feeling in her heart. It's okay, you don't have to apologize. Shirley, I'm gonna go get something to eat first. We can chat later, all right? I left the guild with Leah. Just then, Leah squeezed my hand really hard. Who was that girl just now? Her tone was obviously jealous. I explained. She's just a staff member at the guild. I don't even know her that well. Fine, I'll believe you. Even though Leah seemed really understanding, I had a hunch that Leah was the type who would keep a really close eye on me. If that's really the case, how am I gonna go grind levels everywhere later? But then I thought about meeting and falling for Leah. It's literally a fate gift from the heavens. I should definitely cherish it properly. Everything else can wait till after that, I thought as I walked along, and soon we arrived at the inn. The inn was totally empty too. I had no clue where the boss ran off to, so I took Leah to my room. As soon as I opened the door, the big cat girl threw herself into my arms, crying, Ron, where did you go? I thought you didn't want me anymore. Sobs. All right, all right. Get off me already. Before I could even say anything, I felt a huge pressure coming from the side. Sure enough, Leah was angry. She stared at me with her big blood-red eyes, like she was about to transform any second. Leah, calm down. You can't transform here. Leah pointed angrily at Mia and said, Then you tell me, who the hell is this woman? You promised I was the only one, didn't you? Just then, the two girls finally met face to face. Out of animal instinct, Mia sensed a deadly threat from Leah. This silly little cat finally stopped being naughty. She was completely paralyzed with fear, like a puddle of limp, mushy goo. At that moment, Mia felt like she was gonna melt. Her mouth uncontrollably let out that weird noise only cats make. Then she quickly hid behind my back. Just when Leah was visibly about to transform, I had a random brainwave. I lifted Mia up to my chest with both hands and said to Leah, What are you on about? Woman, you must be seeing things. Seeing Ron lie to her so blatantly. Leah almost growled. The one you're holding right now is a woman. Duh! Leah, you've got the wrong idea. This is a cat! A cat! Yeah, she's my pet cat I raised. Look, she has cat ears. And a cat tail. Is there a chance she's just a cat? After Ron finished bluffing, driven by her survival instinct, Mia actually started acting like a house cat for real. She started licking her paw with her tongue. Then it let out soft meows. After a few little meows, Leah's soft spot for small animals totally took over. She grinned and said, Oh, it's so cute. Can I pet it? Of course, my cat is your cat. That's awesome, thank you. Ron and Leah sat on the edge of the bed. Mia curled up in a ball on his lap, getting petted like a house cat. Leah was having a great time petting the cat, but Mia, the one being petted, was trembling like a leaf. It was obvious Mia was terrified. He was just playing along to save his own life. When I saw this scene of human and cat getting along, I was completely stunned. For a second, I didn't know which part to roast first. First off, Leah is way too gullible, right? What kind of environment did she even grow up in? Someone proposes to her and she says yes right away. You tell her Mia is a pet cat and she actually believes it. And Mia, that little troublemaker who tears up the house and zooms around at midnight, right now, is actually acting like a well-behaved house cat. Oh wow, turns out whoever is nice to Mia gets picked on by him. Now that he met his match, he's totally cowering. What a cowardly little thing. All right. Every villain has their nemesis. I'm super happy with how things are going right now. Later, we can just treat Mia like a pet cat for Leah to take care of. Instead of worshiping him like some ancestor, as Leah kept petting Mia, she said to Ron, I've always wanted a cat since I was little. But my family wouldn't let me have one. Thank you, Ron. I finally have my own. Cat now! Facing Leah's thanks. I didn't just have nothing to say, I also felt a tiny little bit guilty. So I just went along with the conversation. No worries. Leah, you can keep this cat from now on. Really? Leah's face first lit up with surprise and joy, then turned sad. I've never raised an animal before. What if I accidentally kill it by mistake? Hearing the word kill, Mia flinched. All his fur stood on end. Tears were welling up in his eyes, and he looked at me with pleading eyes. Of course I knew what that meant. I said, It's okay, Leah. If it dies, I'll just buy you another one. Mia trembled even more out of fear, so he bit down on his own clothes to keep himself from crying out loud. Noticing that Mia was acting weird, Leah asked Ron in a bit of a panic, What's wrong with him? I bet he's just tired. How about we go get some food first and let him sleep in the hotel for a bit? That makes sense, I'm hungry too. Leah stood up, patted Mia's head and said, Be a good kitty and wait for us to come back, okay? Mia nodded so fast his head was almost a blur. Watching Mia get humiliated this bad from the side, I felt so great inside. It takes a tough person to deal with a troublemaker, huh? Look at you now, Mia. Let's go, Leah. Let's go eat. I held Leah's hand. First, we found a clothing store that was still open. The tailor there was an old man. He probably couldn't walk anymore, so he decided not to run away. Ron and Leah picked through the clothes inside and finally bought a pretty outfit. Now she finally wasn't feeling cold from wearing nothing underneath. Looking at my wife, wearing that simple, elegant white dress, she looked so unbelievably beautiful. Ron, do I look pretty? My wife is the prettiest in the whole world. Innocent Leah blushed bright red at Ron's sweet words. She stammered shyly. Stop it, you're embarrassing me like that. Your blushing face is the cutest in the world too. The old tailor watched this happy young couple. feeling both happy and sorry for them. He said to them earnestly, "Kids, you should run away as fast as you can. I heard some giant spider is coming to town to eat people. I won't charge you for the clothes. You guys hurry up and leave." He was being totally kind, but Leah got really upset when she heard that. Her whole face turned pale with anger. I pulled her behind me when I saw this. I said to the old tailor, "Sir, that giant spider has already been taken care of by me. You don't have to worry anymore." After hearing Ron's words, the old tailor's eyes almost popped out of his head. He asked in shock, Is that true?" "It's absolutely true, sir. Someone will make an announcement tomorrow." Seeing that I was speaking with such certainty, the old tailor regained his hope for survival. He thanked me over and over again, and absolutely refused to take the money for the clothes. So I had no choice but to accept his kind gesture. But my originally good mood was totally gone. I held Leah's hand all the way out of the shop. Leah didn't say another word the whole time. Ron knew Leah was really upset, and wronged too. She didn't do anything bad at all, but got labeled as a monster for no reason. Leah stayed silent the whole walk. She finally couldn't hold it back and spoke up, and asked why. "Everyone says I'm a man-eating monster? Ron, do you believe what I said?" Leah waited for my response. She thought this would be a really hard choice for me, but my action caught her totally off guard. I pulled Leah straight into my arms and told her no matter what happens, "I only believe you, so don't be sad anymore, Leah. I'll always stand by your side." My words made Leah's eyes well up with tears. It felt like a warm stream flowing into her heart. I trusted her even more than her own family did. Was this the warmth that she'd been looking for all this time? "But Ron, why do you trust me so much?" I shook my head and thought this world was way too superficial. Do I need a reason to trust a pretty girl? I'm just obsessed with cute girls. That's my call, okay? Now I totally get how happy Xu Xian was. Whoever gets in the way of me simping for girls, I'll kill them. Then I kept talking to Leah. "Even if you are a monster, Leah, I still like you just as much. I'll always protect you." Leah buried her face in Ron's chest and started crying hard. They were still tears, but this time they were tears of happiness. Leah is a super innocent girl. After crying out all her pent-up grievances, she didn't feel upset anymore. She just felt hungry instead. So, Ron took Leah to a restaurant for a nice big meal. After they finished eating, the two of them went back to the inn to rest. Ron lay on the bed planning his future life. For me, after meeting Leah this time, all the pressure to survive is totally gone, be it strength-wise or money-wise. I never have to fight or work again from now on. As long as I spend this money wisely, I can live a comfortable life for the rest of my days. Who would have thought that after I transmigrated, I somehow got a white-haired pretty girl as my wife? Leah was petting a cat nearby. It was obviously that silly cat Mia, duh. Under Leah's dual terrifying identities as a giant spider and a great archmage, Mia was behaving super obediently. Leah had barely pet her a few times. When Mia fell asleep out of fear, seeing that Mia was asleep, Leah had nothing left to pet, so she got bored. She looked around the room and ended up setting her sights on me. Leah walked over to me and plopped down right on my lap. I knew exactly what she wanted right away. "But we just did it this morning. You want to do it again already?" I stroked Leah's head and said, "Leah, there are other people in the room. Let's do it next time, okay?" But Leah tilted her head in confusion. "Other people? Who? Can't you see Mia right there?" Ron was just about to say that, but I realized it immediately. Mia wasn't considered a human anymore. She was just a slightly oversized pet cat. Fine, we can do it then. Looking at Leah's super expectant face, I didn't have the heart to ruin her fun. I silently sighed in my head. Only the ox gets worn out. At the same time, the royal commissioners had already received Shirley's magic telegram. The content was written very clearly. The disaster-ranked monster giant spider had been successfully defeated by adventurers. What? The giant spider was defeated? Is that real? It should be real, right? What if they're lying to us? Are you kidding me? Lying to the royal family is punishable by hanging. That's a fair point. Anyway, let's go verify it first. Oh, right. Should we contact Her Highness the Princess? She and the Imperial Guards will arrive in 2 days. No, let's verify first. Report to Her Highness immediately once we confirm it. After the two commissioners got Shirley's report, they discussed briefly, then acted right away. They rode horses to the outside of the cave, lit their torches, and summoned up their courage to go inside. They entered the cave without any accidents. After searching around the cave, they really didn't find the legendary giant spider, but they didn't find its corpse either. What's going on here? We didn't find the body. That commissioner, who's clearly a higher up, said it's hard to say where the mushroom monster's body went. It might have been carried off by wild animals, or it might have melted away. Then how do we confirm the result? Is there a chance this is a fraud? The higher up commissioner thought for a moment. He made the call that the subjugation was a success. Hand out the reward. What if this is a scam to get the reward? There's no what if. Even if it's a scam, it's only scamming His Majesty the King. We're just doing our jobs dutifully, that's all. Take the money and go to the guild right now, while I go back to the tent to report to His Highness immediately. Yes, at this moment, the Imperial Guard, led by the princess herself, was marching towards the town in great numbers. Suddenly, someone holding a piece of paper rushed to report to the princess in a panic. Your Highness, according to the intel, the giant spider has been successfully subjugated by adventurers. Shall we continue marching forward? What? The princess was shocked at first, then quickly calmed down. Just as the oracle said, huh? Could the hero have appeared? All troops, hold your position. I'll go to the town in person tomorrow. Yes, Your Highness. The next day, after Ron and Leah had breakfast, Leah stayed in the room to feed and pet the cat. I went to the Adventurers Guild to check the progress of things. To be honest, I have zero faith in the work efficiency of those commissioners. But what I didn't expect was, the second I stepped into the Adventurers Guild, Shirley rushed right over to me. Ron, the reward's been issued. I've got it right here. You can come take it now. As soon as she said that, I was totally caught off guard. Shirley led me to the counter. She pointed at the small sealed treasure chest and said to me, Ron, look, this is the reward the commissioner sent over. Hurry up and open it to have a look. I rubbed my hands together. All right, I won't be polite then. I tore off the seal right after saying that. The moment I opened it, golden light flooded out. That bright golden glow was almost blinding both of us. We're rich! They actually gave us the money! Seeing so many gold coins piled up in front of me, I could barely contain my excitement. Shirley was all smiles too, looking super happy. She was really happy for Ron. Oh, Ron, with such a big sum of money, what are you planning to do with it? Buy a big house in the city? When Shirley asked me that, a look of longing for the future appeared on my face. I plan to buy a big house to live in the royal capital. I heard it's super lively there. Then I'll run a small business. That sounds so nice. After hearing my plan, Shirley's longing was obvious to see. Her face flushed slightly pink. She got lost in the fantasy of the happy life I described. I figured it was almost time to go. Time to take the money, take my beautiful white-haired wife, Leah, and our pet cat, and hit the road. All right then. See you, Shirley. I'm leaving for the royal capital today. Take care of yourself too, okay? I turned around to leave after I finished speaking. Wait, Ron, you're leaving already? Shirley was really reluctant to see me go. She watched my back as I left, her face bright red with shyness at this moment. She had a million things she wanted to say to Ron, but in a split second, the image of the white-haired girl flashed through her mind, and she stopped herself from speaking right away. I heard Shirley call out to me, so I turned around and saw her face was all red. Why is Shirley's face so red? Does Shirley have a crush on me? Ron isn't that slow. I could feel the awkward romantic tension in the air right now. But after 3 seconds, my whole mood dropped. Because I know one of the 3 big illusions in life is she likes me. That classic illusion was kicking in right now. Suddenly I remembered, I still owe Shirley a lot of money. If I don't pay her back, of course she'd stop this deadbeat from leaving. Besides, Shirley is a really shy girl. How would she have the nerve to say it out loud? It makes sense that she's so flustered her face is red. So here I was owing people money, and I actually thought the creditor had a crush on me? How thick-skinned do I have to be to think that? After I figured Shirley wanted to ask for the money back, I walked back over to her. I opened the treasure chest, planning to pay Shirley back with 1 gold coin. After all, the silver coins Shirley gave me were worth a lot, almost equal to half a gold coin, but I grabbed an extra coin by mistake when I took it. 'Cause Shirley cared about me before. She didn't want me to go get myself killed. That really touched me a lot. What can I say? Humans are creatures driven by emotions. Sometimes we put feelings above personal gains. After I stuffed 2 gold coins into her hand, Shirley looked at Ron with total confusion. Ron, this is paying you back, right? Don't you remember? You lent me a big sum of money yesterday, but I didn't lend you that much at all. I patted Shirley on the head gently and said, the extra part is to thank you, Shirley. Thank me? Yep. After I came to this small town, Shirley was the first person who ever cared about me. That's why I'm so grateful to you, Shirley. Actually, Shirley also wanted to tell Ron that he was one of the few people who cared about her. Just take it, Shirley. I've got so much money right now. I can't possibly spend it all on my own. I've got other stuff to deal with. So I'll head off first. Bye, Shirley. I left the Adventurers Guild as if I was running away. I was scared Shirley would refuse to take the coins. Shirley, who stayed behind at the guild, felt her eyes well up quietly. What she was just thinking was, compared to these 2 gold coins, she'd rather Ron take her away with him. But even until Ron left, the words, "Ron, take me with you," she never dared to say them out loud. No time to waste. Now that I had such a huge sum of money on me, I decided to take my wife right away and my cat to the bustling royal capital for a good time. I bought a strong and healthy horse, then I rode on its back, with Leah in my arms, and Leah holding the cat in hers. We left the small town and headed straight for the royal capital. I noticed the closer we got to the royal capital, the more people there were on the road. It was nothing like the desolate scene right after we left town. Besides, there were tons of soldiers along the way. I was really curious about it. While we were feeding the horse at noon, I struck up a conversation with a nearby merchant. "Hey boss, where are all these soldiers heading?" The merchant-looking man shrugged his shoulders and said to me, "I heard outside the small town to the south, there's a man-eating giant monster. Looks like a spider or something. Lots of goods I ordered can't be delivered at all. I really wish these soldiers would hurry up, instead of resting on the road all the time." I realized these troops were here to kill the giant spider, which is none other than my wife Leah, even though my wife is in human form now, and probably no one can recognize her. I still started to panic. I found Leah, who was petting the cat, grabbed her hand and got ready to bolt. "Ron, what's wrong?" Leah asked in confusion. She thought I was being a little rough this time, not like my usual self. "No time to explain right now." "Leah, we have to hit the road immediately." Okay. Leah was still the same old Leah. She trusted me unconditionally. And just like that, the 2 of us, the cat and the horse, galloped towards the royal capital. On the way to the royal capital, Ron saw a silver-armored, helmet-wearing general. I held Leah tight and secretly sweated for him, even though I knew my wife Leah was super strong. I wasn't sure if she could survive a fight with this general. It was still hard to tell. I muttered to myself in my head, "Leah, I will protect you no matter what." This trip to the royal capital to spend our lives together was also my carefully thought-out plan. It's what we call hiding in plain sight. No one would ever guess that the wanted giant spider is hiding and living in the royal capital. The valiant and heroic knight is Princess Yulia, and by a strange twist of fate, she passed right by Ron, the great hero she was looking for. After traveling for 2 straight days, she couldn't take it anymore. This suit of armor was suffocating her badly. If it wasn't for her father, the king's repeated warnings, she would never wear this bulky armor at all. After the official announcement in the town, all the people who had fled the town came back. The town slowly became as lively as it used to be. Everyone was grateful that they survived. Only Shirley was standing at the counter, looking glum all by herself. She didn't even know something big happened in the Adventurers Guild. Right now, everyone in the guild was kneeling. They said a very important person had come, a knight from the royal capital. Her Highness Yulia had come to the Adventurers Guild in person. She told everyone kindly to stop kneeling, and asked, "Which hero defeated the giant spider?" Does anyone know the answer? Yulia's question left everyone completely stunned. Wasn't she the one who defeated it? Everyone present looked at each other in confusion. No one knew what they should say. Julia was completely dumbfounded by the scene in front of her. Logically speaking, the person who defeated the giant spider should have become the big hero of the town, right? He should be known by everyone at the very least. But why does it look like no one knows him here? Julia held back her impatience and asked again, "Excuse me, who was the staff handing out quests that day? They must have met that great hero, right?" Great. Someone finally rushed to answer this time. Several reception ladies pointed at Shirley at the same time and said, "Your Highness, Shirley was on duty at that time. You can ask her." Great. Julia's hanging heart finally settled down. If no one had answered this time, she would have used her divine artifact directly to dig a hole in the ground and hide inside. "Hello, Miss Shirley. Could you tell me what that hero's name is and where he is right now?" It wasn't until Julia walked up to Shirley that Shirley snapped back to her senses. She looked at the short-haired girl in front of her in confusion. She asked uncertainly, "Hello? Are you here to take a quest?" Julia, the dignified brave mech knight, almost cried her eyes out on the spot. Why was she being ignored? Luckily, Julia has a cheerful personality, and is a kind, beautiful girl. She didn't get angry at all. Instead, she asked Shirley patiently. After a few short exchanges, Shirley finally realized how snobbish she had been. She kept bowing and apologizing, begging for Julia's forgiveness. After Julia learned Shirley had just been zoning out, she didn't blame her at all. But Julia's frustration didn't go to waste. She also learned from Shirley who exactly that great hero was. Your Highness, his name is Ron. Ron? It's actually him? As soon as Shirley finished speaking, everyone present was shocked. The guys were obviously super unconvinced. Damn it, why does this bastard get all the good stuff again? They always thought Ron was taking advantage of every situation, but they never stopped to think that when faced with this near-suicidal mission, they had already run off with their tails between their legs. The girls' reactions were also super interesting. A few of them were grinding their teeth so hard they almost broke, because just a few days ago, Ron had proposed to them. If they had known Ron would win that 100 Jin reward, they would have agreed to Ron's proposal, right in front of their own boyfriends. They just missed the chance to marry into wealth. Now that she knew the hero's name, Julia couldn't wait to meet Ron. She said to Shirley excitedly, "Miss Shirley, where's Mr. Ron right now?" "Your Highness, Ron has left." What? After hearing that Ron had left, Julia was pretty frustrated for a moment. She was wearing super heavy armor, went through all kinds of trouble, and was covered in sweat just to come find this great hero. How come he left right as she arrived? Was the gods playing a trick on her? Shirley saw how upset the princess looked, and said quickly, "It's okay. Your Highness, Ron told me. He's going to the royal capital." The royal capital? When Julia heard Ron went to the royal capital, her mood went straight from hell to heaven, because that meant she didn't have to run around everywhere. She could just go home and find Ron along the way. In a great mood, Julia thanked Shirley and turned around to leave. She wanted to go back to the royal capital to find the great hero, Ron, but she didn't even take a few steps before Julia came back to find Shirley. Miss Shirley? I don't know Mr. Ron personally. I want to hire you to come look for him with me. Is that okay? You know what? This princess was really polite. When speaking to ordinary civilians, she could have just ordered Shirley to come with her, but she chose to ask instead. In her view of life, bothering other people to do your own work is extremely rude. So Julia was still feeling super anxious, waiting for Shirley's reply. But as soon as Shirley heard they were going to look for Ron, the light seemed to return to her eyes. She suddenly got excited and said loudly to Julia, "I'd love to." Just like that, Julia excitedly took Shirley back to the royal capital and started their daily routine of looking for the great hero Ron. But she seemed to have forgotten one thing. The royal capital is a really huge place, just her and Shirley on horseback, looking for someone in this super fortress city. With such a huge and complex population, they searched hard for almost 2.5 days and still didn't see a single trace of Ron. Julia realized for the first time how big her home was and how many amazing places she had never seen before. She never thought looking for someone in her own home would be as hard as looking for a needle in a haystack. But Julia has been super competitive since she was little. She's the kind of person who never gives up easily. As long as she hadn't found Ron yet, she and Shirley would keep searching every corner of the royal capital, searched every nook and cranny, but they still couldn't find Ron. Even as tough and brave as Julia was on the verge of breaking down. Luckily, Shelley was way more passionate and persistent about finding Ron than Julia for some reason. They encouraged each other to get through every single day that ended with no leads. It's afternoon right now. The sunset glow is spilling all over the streets. Julia and Shelley are wandering casually through a quiet back alley. They're not only looking for Ron, but also enjoying the scenery of the royal capital from a new angle. Otherwise, this endless, boring daily grind would have worn them out long ago. Your Highness is really in a good mood, huh? Cut the joke, Shelley. Why is this great hero so hard to find anyway? Seeing the princess looking dejected with her head drooping, Shelley comforted her immediately. Your Highness, I'm sure we'll find Ron eventually. I hope so. Not long after the two left, the door of the tavern in that quiet alley suddenly swung open. A man in ordinary civilian clothes walked out carrying a wooden sign. He propped the printed sign next to the tavern door. It reads, "Half-price beer today. Welcome all old and new customers." If Shelley were here right now, she would definitely scream out loud, because that man is the great hero they've been missing day and night. Ron, he's nowhere to be found in the adventurer circles now, but his legends are everywhere. Ron has become the most popular topic for adventurers in their leisure time, but they'd never guess that the legendary great hero is grinning, and watching them talk about him while drinking. It's night. Yulia and Shelley are in their pajamas, admiring the bright moon on the bedroom balcony. Yulia used the hero search mission given by her father to appoint Shelley as a special envoy and brought her into the palace properly. After half a month of getting along, the two have become best friends who talk about everything. Sometimes they chat too late and just fall asleep on the same bed. Shelley often sighs about how unpredictable fate is. An ordinary girl like her never thought that one day she could rest on the same bed as a princess and even get a salary from the royal family. Not long ago, she was still worrying about staying alive and putting food on the table. This huge change all comes from Ron, who she met by chance, the man who changed her whole life. Yulia is also happy about this change. She never had many friends she could chat with. Now she has another friend she can talk to freely, which makes her really happy. Shelley, can you tell me more about Ron? I want to know more about him. Hearing this name, Shelley fell into deep thought. That night, Shelley was trapped in total despair. She didn't dare to leave her job and run for her life, so she hid under the counter waiting for monsters to come eat her. Just when she thought she was doomed, Ron patted her head gently and gave her a confident, reassuring smile. He said to her, "If I don't step up, who else will?" With those words, Shelley could not resist. Her heart was captured by Ron right then. Thinking of this scene again, Shelley's face turned red unconsciously and felt a little hot. She mumbled to herself, "Ron, he's my hero." Yulia seemed to sense something from Shelley's face and tone. "Looks like you two are really close. Are you gonna marry him once you find him? Marry him? No. You got it wrong, Your Highness. Ron and I are not like that." "Then what are you?" "Ron already has a girlfriend, and it looks like they're gonna get married soon." "I see." Yulia heard the disappointment in Shelley's voice. Even though she doesn't know much about relationships, she could clearly tell how upsetting that disappointment was. Yulia wanted to cheer up the sad Shelley, so she brought over some dessert and said to Shelley, "Cream cake. It's sweet and super delicious." "Thank you, Your Highness." At the same time, the second day after my wife Leah and I settled in the royal capital, I became a small business owner out of the blue and got my own business. I originally wanted to save money, so I found a tavern to stay at in the most remote corner. But I never expected that when I went downstairs for food the next day. I heard the old tavern owner complaining that business was so bad, he might as well sell the shop and go back to the countryside to farm. That really piqued my interest. He immediately struck up a conversation with the old man, and in no time at all, he haggled the price down to 2 gold coins and bought this tavern outright. What a great deal this was. Both of them thought they'd gotten the better end of the deal, and both thought the other guy was an idiot. As for the old man's complaint that no one came to the tavern, Ron already figured out why that was. The tavern's positioning was really awkward, that's why. Not only was it in a super remote location, the decor was also totally run down. Most people who could afford a hotel turned their noses up at this place. Folks who couldn't afford accommodation just slept on the street. Spending your food money to sleep in a place like this, that's straight up stupid, right? Ron didn't care about any of that, though. He was just looking for a place to live anyway. Even if the tavern didn't work out as a business after he bought it, at least he and his wife had a place to sleep. Plus, the place was pretty big. They could pick any room they wanted. All they needed to do was hire someone to renovate it, and it would turn into a really nice spot. With the efforts of Ron and his young wife and their pet cat Mia, the little tavern was up and running in proper shape. That's right. Even pet cats have to work to earn their own kibble. When Leah saw how Mia, as a pet, was such a hard worker, she would sigh and say, "Cats are such magical, smart, hard-working creatures." Whenever Ron was standing nearby and heard Leah say stuff like this, he would hang his head in shame. Is it really okay to lie to naive Leah like this? If she ever sees a real cat in the future, how am I going to come up with another lie to fool Leah? The more he thought about it, the more guilty Ron felt. And so Ron started living a life where he was busy 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times, and it was both chaotic and sweet. Days busy during the day and even busier at night gave Ron a super happy and fulfilling life. After a while of lots of deep, intimate conversations with Leah, Ron was shocked to realize how unbelievably lucky he had been back then. Leah told him this story. She'd been starving in the cave for days, and when Ron walked in that day, Leah was so delirious from hunger that she thought Ron was a rat. For a level 200 Leah, a level 20-something Ron was basically a rat, right? If Ron hadn't been so quick on his feet and dodged Leah's attack when she was in her spider person form. He definitely would have ended up as her meal, but it was exactly because Leah was passed out from hunger and couldn't use her full power that Ron got the upper hand. Otherwise, with Ron's power level, going up against Leah, a level 300 Archmage, he probably wouldn't even get a chance to make a move. He'd be dead the second they met. So, Leah was going extremely easy on him back then. She didn't even cast a single spell. Maybe this was just fate, Ron thought to himself, feeling relieved. Even though their power levels were worlds apart, how could his fated wife ever have the heart to kill him? Isn't that right, my sweet wife? Ron glanced proudly at Leah, who was holding him in her arms. My Leah is the absolute best. After a long day of work, Ron and Leah immediately started their cultivation practice. Since they were practicing together, they called it dual cultivation for short. Even though it was called dual cultivation, only Ron was actually gaining EXP. Well, what can you say? Ron had this silly cheat ability. Once they finished practicing, both of them were out of breath. Ron held his beautiful wife in his arms and thought, they've been going at it for almost half a month straight. What if Leah's already pregnant? But Leah had a hereditary family curse. So would their future child inherit it too. Ron carefully brought this question up to Leah. Leah just buried her face in Ron's chest. When Ron lifted Leah's little face up to look at him, he saw she looked absolutely miserable, like she was about to cry. He knew the answer right away. It would most likely be passed down. Would their future kid also be a half-spider person? Having a fuzzy spider-like kid? The second Ron imagined that, he got goosebumps all over. But when he saw Leah's hurt little face, he immediately let go of that thought. So what if the kid's part spider? If you accept fate's gifts, you have to pay the corresponding price too. No matter what, we have to walk the rest of our path together. We can't go blaming fate or other people for it. Ron kissed Leah on the cheek and comforted her softly. Hey, don't be sad anymore. Even if we have a little monster, it's still our kid. We'll raise them together, okay? Leah nodded, sniffling through her tears, and buried her face in Ron's chest again. Don't cry, baby, don't cry. Let's go to sleep. Ron held Leah and lay down. He was comforting Leah while stroking her smooth white long hair. Damn, this hair feels so nice to touch. All right, I'm hitting the hay. I'm totally worn out today. We still have things to take care of tomorrow. In the darkness, a cat head with glowing green eyes popped out. Her face was flushed, with a shy and flustered expression. The intense scene of Ron and Leah dual cultivating just now was seen clearly by Mia. Mia grew up a lot that night. The whole family woke up in broad daylight. They had breakfast together. Ron originally wanted to open the shop to earn more money, but on second thought, he realized this was putting the cart before the horse. He was already financially free and didn't need to run around to make a living. But now look at him. He bought a tavern, but has been working himself half to death. This can't go on like this. All right, that's settled then. The shop is closed for business starting now. It'll stay closed until Ron feels like opening it again. Ron decided to take a good rest today. He took his wife and pet cat for a picnic in the suburbs of the royal capital. After a nice big meal, he lay comfortably on Leah's lap, looking at the blue sky and white clouds, and the silly cat chasing butterflies in the distance. Maybe this is what happiness feels like. Ron suddenly realized he had forgotten something. What on earth did he forget? Oh, he remembered. Life had been way too smooth since he met Leah, that he even forgot to practice cultivation. Even though he dual cultivated with Leah every day, the massive EXP he got from doing naughty stuff gave him tons of stat points, which he hadn't even allocated yet. All right, let's see what level I am now. Wait, what? It's only level 114? Ron remembered. The first time he finished dual cultivating with Leah in the cave, he had already leveled up to 106, and that was only one time. It leveled Ron up by more than 80 levels. But now, he has lived with Leah in the royal capital for over half a month, and only got a pathetic amount of EXP. Is it because his level is higher now, that the EXP gained is reduced? Or does he have to do naughty stuff with a new girl to keep getting more EXP? Ron figured no matter what, he couldn't find the answer just by sitting here guessing. He had to try it himself to find out the truth. But he already has Leah. Going to experiment with a random stranger of the opposite sex is basically asking to get killed. If Leah smells another woman's scent on him, she'll turn into a giant spider on the spot and swallow me whole in one bite. As Ron was thinking about this, Leah, who was gently stroking his cheek, suddenly moved. She lifted her hand high up. Ron panicked with guilt. He thought his thoughts had been read by Leah the Great Mage, and she was about to give him a fatal blow. No way, my dear wife. I haven't done anything yet. You want to kill me already? But when Leah spoke next, Ron knew what was going on. Leah reached both hands towards where Mia was and called out, "Kitty, don't run around. You'll get lost." Oh, so she was worried about the little kitty. That scared the hell out of me. I thought you were gonna kill me. That's what a guilty conscience gets you. Ron quickly shut down those thoughts of his. Besides, what's the point of getting that strong anyway? Leah is already super strong. And Ron isn't weak these days either. Other than getting his ass kicked by his wife, there's probably no one else in the world who can beat him. Then Leah shifted her body a bit and said to Ron, "Ron, can you get up for a second? I want to go get the kitty." Go ahead, Ron said as he sat up, to let Leah stand up easily. After Leah stood up, she ran straight towards Mia, who was running around aimlessly. "Wait for me, kitty." Looking at Leah's fading back, Ron let out a sigh of relief. He thought since he couldn't level up quickly anyway, he might as well allocate his stat points first and practice the skills he has learned. Training is way more important than leveling up anyway. Back then, he leveled up to over level 10 by raising his favorability with Mia and unlocked the skills for the swordsman class. He learned a lot of swordsmanship skills, but fighting wasn't as easy as Ron imagined. Even though he has magic and skills, it's not like in video games, where you can kill monsters with a random slash. Ron, who's a modern guy, with his weak physique and slack combat awareness, is basically a total noob. It's not like getting a status panel can completely rework you and magically turn you into a battle-hardened adventurer. That's totally impossible. Under the pressure to survive, Ron trained day and night for ages before he could fight monsters without hurting himself. Then he maxed out all skill points for the profession he'd been training in for so long. After that, Ron found he still had a ton of leftover points. He flipped through the panel casually and realized his status panel actually had other professions he could unlock. A question popped up in his head right then. Did everyone's panel work just like his? When Ron talked to the natives of this world, here's what he figured out more or less. In this world, there's a patron god of humanity. He unconditionally bestows blessings upon people. Using these status panels to strengthen humans seems to be one of his blessings. But why does Ron's version of the blessing look so damn lewd? Is it because he's a transmigrator? So they accidentally gave him the wrong one? How do I put this? It was actually a blessing in disguise. At first, when he couldn't find any girls around, this thing almost got him killed. But hey, everything's going great now, right? He's got a pet cat and met that beautiful silver-haired girl and made her his wife. He even smoothly leveled up to over level 100, reaching a height regular people could never dream of. Ron suddenly realized something. His status panel, the so-called blessing from the god, gains experience from him dating people. Those native people, on the other hand, gain experience from training and killing monsters. Ron has it way easier than them. Hunting monsters is no joke after all. One wrong move and you're dead. All he has to do is date girls. If things go wrong, he won't lose his life over it. If it works out, he gets a nice bonus on top of that. The difference in difficulty is literally night and day. Wait, if that's the case, Ron realized he basically has a cheat code. The only bummer is, his cheat is currently locked tight by Leah. Meh, whatever. The second Ron thought about how cute Leah looks when she's mad, covering her mouth, he stopped stressing about leveling up and focused on allocating his leftover points instead. As he flipped through the panel, he noticed something weird. Aside from the countless professions that he could unlock, he also found a weird section on the panel with some text that wasn't from this world written on it. He shouldn't have been able to read it, but somehow he could. Yeah, it was a really weird feeling. He knew he'd never learned this writing system before, but he could understand its meaning perfectly. Plus, the text was glowing bright pink. The first line read, "Whisper of Love." How do I put this? No comment. The second line read, "Pact of Love." That definitely didn't look like a proper magic spell. Wait, is this the kind of spell that turns people into your personal slave? Ron didn't bother going through the rest. They were all way too weird. Looking at all these suggestive spells, Ron even started wondering if he'd reincarnated as the boss of some AeroJ, but he'd transmigrated to this world in his original body, so that shouldn't be possible. So now Ron had another question. When exactly did this panel show up? Why didn't he notice this thing when he first started allocating points? Also, at the very top of the section, there was something called contribution points. It said he had 38 points of energy. Why the number 38? Was there some hidden meaning behind it? What the hell did it mean? Ron closed his eyes and focused. going through possible answers in his head. Suddenly, it hit him. He figured out what the number meant. His face flushed bright red and screamed in his head, "That's the number of times I hooked up with Leah. Why would it keep track of that? This panel is so damn stupid. But since it's energy, that means you can use it, right? So every time you do the deed, you get 1 point of energy, and then you can use it to cast the spells on this pink panel, right? So what does Whisper of Love even do? Does it hypnotize girls when you use it, so you can carry them home? Then you use the energy to hypnotize more new girls? What kind of pervert crap is this? Wait, that's basically a perpetual motion machine. I don't even know what to say. Ron looked away from the pink status panel. Keep browsing. He picked for ages and chose another melee class, allocated all the stat points. This class is called the Pugilist. It deals damage by throwing punches. As for why he already had a swordsman and still picked a melee pugilist, well, Ron definitely had his reasons. After all, Pugilist is the T0 meta in the current patch, right? Who wouldn't want to play that? There's a super vivid saying. It goes, throw 1 solid punch, and you'll avoid 100 coming at you. That makes sense, right? Ron thought that saying was totally on point. He was already imagining, after he learned all the pugilist skills, he wouldn't have to carry a sword around with him and could coolly take down thugs empty-handed. That's what he was thinking. Ron was already ready to start training pugilist skills. All the pugilist skill names are super plain. You can tell what they do at a glance. Ron didn't overthink it and put all his points into Rapid Punch, because he thought basic moves like Straight Punch shouldn't need learning, right? Who doesn't know how to do that? Why would you even need to learn that stuff? But Rapid Punch sounded like it had some actual power, so he'd learn it and give it a shot. How was he going to test it? Ron looked left and right, and finally spotted a big tree. He walked straight over to it and patted the tree trunk. It was crazy thick. Ron didn't see how thick it was until he got up close. Even 3 people couldn't wrap their arms around it. Perfect, he'd test his Rapid Punch on this. Rapid Punch! As soon as he said it, he launched Rapid Punch at the trunk. Right after that, his fists pelted the trunk like rain, hitting like crazy. The sound of punching went on for quite a while, but those fierce, powerful punches didn't show any sign of stopping at all. He only stopped when he was completely out of stamina. That intense workout generated a ton of heat. Made Ron sweat so much it was like rain. He was basically drenched head to toe, not until all the heat faded away. Did Ron barely come back to his senses? When he opened his eyes, something totally shocking happened. That super thick tree trunk actually got hit by Ron's Rapid Punch, and a huge hole was blown straight through it. You gotta know, even if you broke an iron sword hacking at it, you couldn't get this crazy of a result. But Ron just did it with his bare fists. Is the pugilist class really that insanely overpowered? Maybe. It also had something to do with Ron's level 100 body stats. Probably, right? Next up, something that shocked Ron even more happened. He felt sweat from his forehead drip into his eyes. It stung pretty bad. So he tried to lift his hand to wipe the sweat off his forehead. But he didn't expect. Both his fists and arms were all mangled and bloody. Ah, my arms! When the hell did that happen? Why didn't I feel any pain just now? Oh no, I'm a cripple with no working hands now.
How am I gonna live after this?
How am I even gonna make decent meals? How am I gonna hug him with both hands? Just when Ron was panicking like crazy, his body started glowing pink out of nowhere he couldn't control, and he was muttering something under his breath. All he was saying were weird notes he didn't even understand himself. Those notes sounded like demonic whispers coming straight from the abyss. They mess with your head, make you lose your mind without you even noticing. Right when Ron finished chanting, his arms actually healed completely like magic. The spots where bone was showing grew new skin and flesh back. All the old scars he got from fighting monsters before were gone too. It was like he had brand new hands. And what's more, he felt like his body was even stronger and more powerful now. Ron just froze for a few seconds, and then realized what just happened. It was his own body after all, and he was the one who cast the magic. He screamed inside his head right away. This is what the Whisper of Eros does? So this weirdly named secret art is just a plain healing spell? I was actually looking forward to using it to hypnotize girls. Ron noticed the big hole he had just blown in front of him. The full power of the pugilist is actually insane, huh? The only downside is it wrecks your hands way too much. If Ron didn't have that weird healing spell, he would have been totally done for today. A loud slap rang out. Ron smacked his own forehead. He finally got it now. What all those pugilist skills were for. All those moves like straight punch, power punch, guard punch, and other stuff that looked useless. They're actually all foundational moves. to let beginners understand the basic rules of throwing a punch, so that boxers can get used to it slowly, the increasing intensity built into each move, instead of going all out like Ron right off the bat, and hurting yourself with those fierce punching moves. And aren't boxers supposed to wear knuckle guards anyway? Doing this barehanded like Ron did today is such a dumbass move. After Ron figured this out, he sighed helplessly. There really are no shortcuts in life, huh? You have to take everything one step at a time to get where you want. I almost got into big trouble during practice today. Good thing I have that weird pink status panel. It saved my life totally out of the blue. I'd have been totally screwed otherwise. Wait, if that's the case, do I have to do a lot of dual cultivation with Leah to get enough points for emergencies? Ugh, but I don't want to hand over that much marital dues. Damn it, guess I just gotta avoid getting hurt as much as possible and save my energy points for when I really need them. Just as Ron was thinking this in his head, about getting out of his marital duties, the person he's avoiding showed up to find him and came right up to him. There you are, I finally found you. Ron, where did you go? Seeing Leah suddenly appear next to him, Ron was totally spooked and blurted out without thinking, Leah! I'm kinda tired right now. We can't do that right now. Let me rest for a bit first. Leah asked confusedly. Ron, what are you talking about? Ron froze for a second too, then realized he'd said the wrong thing. He scratched the back of his head and started making excuses, laughing awkwardly. Oh, nothing. Hey, by the way. Leah, are you hungry? Let's go home, yeah? I'll make you something tasty. But Leah put her hands on her hips, pressed her face up against Ron's, and stared right at him. She even sniffed him with her cute little nose. She saw Ron was completely soaked, way more than when they're intimate together. Little jealous Leah immediately got suspicious. She thought while she was gone, Ron had messed around with another girl. Ron, why are you all soaked? Did you do something behind my back? Ron had no idea what to say. He immediately thought Leah's mind was way more in the gutter than his. They'd only been apart a little while, and she already thought he was cheating on her. Does Leah actually think that this tree hole behind him, I drilled that hole myself? No way, that's way too crazy, right? Ron squeezed the jealous little Leah's cheeks with both hands and said to her, Leah, my sweet wife, can you trust me a little here, huh? Fine, I believe you, okay? Ron went, that's my good wife. Anyway, you can't hide things from me behind my back. Okay, I got it. Let's go. Go carry the cat. Don't let it run off and get lost. Hey, little kitty. We're going home now. Don't wander off. Leah walked ahead first, to catch Mia, who was running all over the place. Ron glanced at the big tree hole behind him and got an idea. This tree never did anything to him, and he totally messed it up. What did the poor tree ever do wrong? Why'd I have to treat it like that? For no reason at all. Ron wanted to test something. He had a hunch that Whisper of Love might be able to fix this tree. As soon as he thought that, Ron activated the secret art called Whisper of Love. Pink light started glowing all over Ron's body, and the tree also started glowing with the same pink light. Then those weird pink runes crawled all over the tree like little worms. The tree started changing in an unbelievable way. The big hole that Ron had punched into it earlier was suddenly like it had a life of its own and started fixing itself on its own. It regrew and grew really fast. In just a little while, it looked exactly like it did before Ron ever punched it. Looking at this incredible change, whoa, this is the power of Whisper of Love. It feels like I just got a broken cheat code with this move. It feels like I can mess around as much as I want and be fine. Ron and Leah walked hand in hand back to their tavern. Ron was all sweaty, so as soon as he got home, he hopped in a cold shower. Then he stood in front of the mirror in his room and dried himself off completely. Ron struck all kinds of poses in front of the mirror, admiring himself narcissistically. Looks like the boxer class is really effective at boosting your physical stats. Just then, Leah walked in from outside. She saw Ron showing off his muscles. She almost started drooling. She immediately snuggled into Ron's arms. Then she tilted her head up and smiled like she was about to get what she wanted. Ron got it right away. He sighed helplessly. Ugh, what am I gonna do with you? You must be attracted to my ripped muscles, huh? I'm such an irresistible guy, damn. With that, he picked Leah up and walked toward the fancy big bed. This happy life should last forever, right? The battle finally ended. Ron and Leah were all sweaty again. Ugh, that shower was totally wasted. Guess we'll just have to take another one. So after they finished showering, Leah finally got hungry. That's when she let Ron go. Told him to go downstairs and cook. But that silly cat downstairs was already starving ages ago. Her stomach was growling like crazy. She was holding a knife and fork, grinding her little fangs on an empty plate angrily. Not only was she starving, she also had to listen to all the noise Ron and Leah were making. When she saw Ron coming downstairs, Mia complained with a bitter look. "What were you two doing up there?" "Ron, I've been starving forever." Seeing Mia talking to him, Ron quickly pressed a finger to his lips and shushed at Mia. "Shh, shh. Do you have a death wish? You're a pet right now, okay? You're not allowed to talk. Did you forget?" After Ron reminded her, Mia remembered her current role. She could do nothing but shed 2 sad tears. She cried, "How is a workhorse like me even a pet? I have to work every single day, and I can't even speak human words." She wanted to run away from home, but then she thought about how she can't even survive on her own, and immediately chickened out. She could only make ugly meowing sounds with her throat. To protest to Ron, "Okay, stop yelling already. I'll make you grilled fish, okay? That's more like it." The second she heard there was fish to eat, the little cat stopped throwing a fit. Ron had no choice but to start getting busy making dinner. After grilling a whole basin of fish, he was all sweaty all over again. Ugh, that shower was wasted again. Then he cooked some other dishes for Leah and himself. Ron yelled upstairs to Leah, "Come down for dinner." Coming. Mia was chowing down on the basin of grilled fish in front of her, like she'd forgotten all her troubles. Leah looked at all the grilled fish on the table and got confused. "Ron, why did you grill so much fish today?" Ron didn't know how to explain it. It's not like he could tell Leah that this was to calm the little cat's protest, right? So he just made up a random lie on the spot. Fish was cheap today." "Oh, okay, then eat more." Eat more." As they were eating, in the corner of the ceiling right behind Leah, there was a black furry spider hanging on a web. Maybe since he'd become family with Leah, Ron suddenly wasn't scared of spiders anymore. He even thought they were kinda cute. If this was before, a palm-sized furry spider like this would have scared him half to death. Ron joked to Leah, "Look what's behind you." "Is that one of your relatives?" "Relatives?" Leah had no idea what Ron was talking about. She turned her head and looked around, and didn't see any relatives. "What relatives?" "The spider on the ceiling, duh." After saying that, Ron quickly added, "Just kidding. You're not mad, right?" Leah smiled and huffed softly. She wasn't mad at all. She just thought Ron was being childish. She stood up and walked toward the spider. She wanted to see what breed it was. After all, the animal her clan is most familiar with is spiders. Same with Leah. She's raised them since she was little. She even made contracts with lots of familiars. "Hi there, little guy." Leah stretched out her hand to say hello. The black spider actually seemed to understand her. It jumped off the spider web and landed right in Leah's palm. Leah said in shock, Leah, what's wrong?" "Ron, don't come over." "Wait a second. What's going on, Leah? Stop asking, just give me some time, okay?" It was the first time Leah used such a firm tone. When talking to Ron, it looked like something was really wrong. As soon as this happened, Ron completely lost his appetite for dinner. He just stood there, watching Leah, talking to the black spider in his palm. After a while, Leah's body started shaking uncontrollably. 1 second she was staring at the spider in her hand. The next, she looked back at Ron. Her eyes were filled with confusion and helplessness. Then it looked like she'd made up her mind and threw the black spider away. Leah turned around and looked at Ron. 2 streams of tears rolled down her cheeks. Leah saw Ron opening his arms for her. Leah ran straight towards Ron without hesitation. As they hugged each other, the black spider fell to the ground and caught fire and burned to a pile of ash. Ron wiped the tears off Leah's face. "How come you're crying over a meal?" Leah answered pitifully between sobs. Ron whispered softly in Leah's ear, "Sweetheart, what happened? Can you tell me?" At Ron's question, Leah hugged him even tighter, but refused to answer his question. Seeing that Leah was silent, he stopped pressing. "If you don't want to talk, I won't ask." Although there was a small hiccup, today was still sweet and joyful, and perfectly happy at that. Leah said she was tired pretty early, her little head resting on Ron's shoulder, and told him she wanted to sleep. Ron had no choice but to agree, and carried Leah to bed to rest. Leah was extra clingy tonight. She buried her face in Ron's chest, her arms wrapped tightly around his back. The cocky Ron started having silly dramatic thoughts again. "You clingy little vixen." Ron stroked Leah's smooth hair and fell asleep soon after. But not long after, half asleep, he was woken up by Leah shaking him. Ron rubbed his eyes and asked Leah if she needed anything. Leah didn't say a word. Ron knew what she wanted. But he really didn't want to go along with it. Come on. They'd already done it who knows how many times today. Leah just slept for a little bit. And now she wants it again. Did I marry a juice squeezer at home? Ron really wanted to say he had nothing left to give. But a guy can never say he can't keep up, right? Let's just get on with it. Then Ron and Leah started their practice again for the nth time. Leah was obviously very satisfied. She collapsed tiredly onto Ron's chest. Suddenly, Ron felt a sharp pain in his shoulder and saw Leah was biting his shoulder. Wait, do female spiders eat males for nutrients? To absorb their energy? Ron joked. Leah, you're not gonna eat me for nutrients, are you? Leah tapped Ron's nose with her finger and said, that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Ron, that way we can be together forever. Yandere Leah actually had this side to her? After hearing what Leah said, Ron felt a chill run down his spine. Leah, you're joking, right? Leah said sadly. I wish I really could eat you. Then we'd never have to be apart. Leah, what did you say? I didn't hear that. It's nothing. I'm tired, let's sleep. With that, Leah laid down and fell asleep right away. A little while later, 2 red eyes glowed in the dark room. Leah woke up again, but this time she wasn't planning to bother Ron. Instead, she quickly got dressed and jumped out the window. The silver moon hung quietly in the sky, its bright glow lighting up the streets of the royal capital. If it weren't for the moonlight, no one would have been able to see a woman standing on the roof of the tavern. She had long black hair and wore a black dress, holding a black velvet folding fan in front of her face. Her all-black outfit blended perfectly into the night, making her hard to spot. Then, a person completely opposite to her style, with white hair, wearing a white dress, walked up to her. The woman in the black dress spoke in a cold, distant tone and said calmly, "You finally came to see me." Leah stepped forward and said firmly, "Sister, I'm not leaving with you." From Leah's tone, the woman in black was her older sister. Her sister was silent for a moment and said coldly, "Is it because of that man?" Though her tone was cold, there was a hint of murderous intent hidden in it. Leah wasn't stupid. When she picked up on that, she flew into a rage instantly and shouted at her sister, "Tina, don't go too far. None of this has anything to do with Ron. If you dare to hurt him." As she spoke, a faint red glow radiated from Leah's body. Some wrinkles even seemed to form on the back of her hand. Looks like this older sister named Tina has really hit Leah's raw nerve. Leah, who's never gone all out before, doesn't plan on hiding her power anymore. Leah's older sister. Tina snorts calmly. She looks completely unbothered, totally unafraid of the fury coming off her little sister Leah. And her raging magical energy, well, she's the older sister after all. She's been picking on her little sister since they were kids. Why would she be scared of her? But Tina doesn't want to start a fight in the royal capital. It's not that she's scared of alerting Yulia. She doesn't care about the kingdom's hidden aces at all. If she gets into a full-on fight with her sister, the whole royal capital will be destroyed. It's just not the right time for that yet. Tina doesn't keep provoking Leah. She starts talking her down instead. Calm down, I'm your older sister, okay? Do you really want to fight me? Have you ever won a fight against me ever? The second Tina says that Leah is completely stumped. She's never won, that's a fact. She always got her ass kicked by her older sister, and Tina even used her as a stool to sit on. Ugh, that humiliating dark past, Leah says, trembling. What do you want? We'll get to that later. First answer me, why did you run away? What about the mission the ancestor gave you? Why didn't you finish it? I don't want to kill people. Leah breaks down crying as she says this. Tina's voice drops low, like an elder scolding a junior. She snaps at Leah. Stop being so childish. If you mess up the ancestor's ascension plan, do you know what the consequences will be? What ascension plan? What does that have to do with me? And what's even the point of it? What's the point? After hearing Leah's words, Tina shakes with rage, but she manages to hold her temper back. She decides to teach Leah a proper lesson. The moment she brings up the ancestor's great ascension cause, her tone gets heated, and she starts going off on a rant. Leah, how can you be so stupid? Once the ascension plan is complete, the ancestor will become a star god. And at that point, our whole clan can rule the entire world. I'm not interested. Leah cuts her off right away and turns Tina down flat. Tina changes the subject immediately, her face turning vicious as she speaks. Do you know what happens to people who get in the ancestor's way? I'm not scared. Stop using the ancestor to threaten me. If he's really our ancestor, he wouldn't treat us like this. You're not scared? Tina looks at her with obvious disappointment. and says to Leah, "You're not scared of dying, but you don't care about your parents either? What happened to Mom and Dad? Because you ran away, they've been locked up now. If you don't come back with me, I'll get punished too." How could they do that? Leah isn't scared of death. Instead of being chained down by that clan and forced to do things she doesn't want to do, she'd much rather die. But if you threaten her with her family's lives, the kind-hearted Leah will definitely waver. Right now, one of Leah's feet is pointed forward towards her older sister Tina. The other is turned off to the side. That means she's super hesitant and doesn't know whether to go forward or back. It feels like she's standing at a crossroads in her life right now, struggling to make a hard choice. On one side is her parents' lives. On the other is the happy life she has with Ron. Both are super important to her, and she doesn't want to give up either one easily. Plus, Leah is an extremely stubborn girl. If she can't make a decision, she'll probably just stand on this rooftop like this until the sun comes up. Tina can obviously tell what's going through her head. After all, Leah is her little sister that she's watched grow up. She knows exactly what Leah is thinking and what she's going to do before she even does it. When it comes to dealing with Leah, she obviously knows exactly what to do. She wants to add an extra weight to this wavering scale, to push Leah towards a choice. That way, Leah will definitely be able to make up her mind. Tina opens her folding fan and flicks it gently back and forth. She looks just like some fancy upper-class noblewoman. She speaks slowly in a playful, persuasive tone. "Can't make up your mind? Huh? What if I say that if you come back with me tonight and return home, I'll help you hide the fact that you married an outsider, and I won't bother this guy named Ron ever again, okay?" "Wait, really? Are you serious?" "Of course. When has your big sis ever lied to you? Then I'll go with you." Leah agreed to go home with her sister. At the same time, she looked reluctantly at the tavern where Ron was. "Goodbye, Ron. Maybe we'll never see each other again." A happy life for him was just a flash in the pan after all. It was never meant to last. After Leah and her sister Tina disappeared, Meow, a cat head with glowing green eyes, popped up from the roof. That was Mia. Just now, she'd been eavesdropping on Leah and her sister's conversation. This girl is just like always, sneaking out of her cat bed as soon as it's midnight, climbing up to the roof to be a midnight loafer. So she happened to see Leah and quietly followed her. Even though she couldn't understand what Leah and Tina were talking about, she knew one thing for sure. That scary lady Leah is finally leaving. Mia put on the happiest smile of her entire cat life. That means she doesn't have to pretend to be a pet cat anymore while slaving away doing chores. Ever since this lady Leah showed up, she lost her status in the family. She can't do whatever she wants anymore. And the worst part is, she's even banned from bouncing around on Ron's bed. So to make up for this huge loss, she's gonna go bounce on Ron's bed right now. And when she's tired, she'll just plop down and sleep on his face. The next day, it wasn't until noon that Ron slowly woke up. Maybe he and Leah got too busy working out yesterday, so he slept extra heavy. Wait, this is way too heavy. Ron felt like his head was super heavy. He couldn't move it at all. It felt like he was being weighed down by some unknown creature. On top of that, there was a weird stench of cat odor. The second Ron caught a whiff of this all-too-familiar stench, he knew exactly what was going on.
"Mia, get off me right now!"
But that did absolutely nothing. If Mia actually listened to humans, she wouldn't be such a dumb cat. Ron had to do it himself, pushing this ball of cat off his forehead. After he got up, he saw Mia, lazily, lying on his and Leah's fancy couple's king bed. He was super confused. Did this cat just rebel? How dare she get on the bed? Isn't she scared of Leah? Wait, where did Leah go? That's when Ron noticed something was off. He looked left and right, but there was no sign of his wife Leah anywhere. Confused, Ron tried calling Leah's name twice.
"Where are you?"
The cat got on the bed. "Aren't you gonna do something?" Ron didn't get any reply from Leah. Mia, on the other hand, got annoyed. She thought Ron was disturbing her sleep, so she said annoyed, "Ron, you're so annoying. She ran off with someone last night." Mia's sleepy mumble left Ron stunned speechless. He panicked and asked Mia, "What did you say? Leah ran off with someone last night? Did you see that? Ugh, so annoying. So what if she ran off? I saw it on the roof last night." With that, Mia yawned and went back to sleep. Leah ran off with someone? Ron's brain started racing, imagining what Leah was thinking when she left him. "Ron, you useless man. I'm leaving you now, and I'm never coming back." "What? My limited edition, white-haired, red-eyed, super cool shape-shifting babe actually ran off with someone? My precious wife ran off with another guy? I don't want that. Right then, this tough guy Ron started bawling his eyes out. Because of his crazy strong physique, his tears sprayed out like a high-pressure water gun. All of them sprayed right onto Mia's face. Basically gave her a free face wash. Mia was sleeping like a log, but after getting a face full of salty tears, she was wide awake. She jumped up furious, complaining to Ron, "Will you let me sleep or not?" She didn't run off with another guy. She went home with her sister. The second Ron heard Mia say that Leah didn't run off with another guy, but went home with her own sister, he excitedly grabbed Mia by the shoulders, asking urgently, "Really? Mia, how do you know?" "I already told you. I was on the roof last night. I saw her talking to a woman in black clothes. She called her sister. Ron, I'm hungry. Hurry up and cook, Ron. Your wife ran away. Who's in the mood to cook for a pet cat right now?" He blamed Mia and said, "You saw it. Why didn't you stop her? You just watched her leave like that?" Mia used her tiny little brain to think about what Ron had just said. She was instantly speechless. Ron wanted her, a little cat that only eats fish, to stop a black-haired woman even scarier than the white-haired one. That's like in Journey to the West, making a little demon fight Tang Sen Zhang's 4 disciples. What's the difference? Besides, Mia has no reason to keep Leah at all. Ever since Leah came here, Mia had her human status revoked. Now that this woman is gone, she can finally see the light of day again. Mia asked confusedly, "Why would I stop her?" Ron said without thinking, "She's my wife." "She's not my wife." Oh, that makes sense, actually. No matter how agitated he was, Ron thought Mia had a point. He added, "Even if Leah isn't your wife, she's still your..." My what? Ron thought for a long time and finally said it. "She's your master, duh." The cat was confused. "What does master mean?" Mia asked confusedly. "It means owner." Huh? Owner? After hearing Ron's words, the little cat immediately pulled a long face. She made a super ugly expression and said, "You think I need this owner?" Okay. Leah is indeed a bit much for you. But she's my precious wife. I can't live without her." Ron woke up to find his wife had run away, and he couldn't adapt to it for a while. He collapsed weakly to the ground, feeling like his whole body was drained. For Ron, who just lost his wife, there was only pain left in his heart. He didn't understand why Leah left without saying goodbye. Even if she was going back to her parents' house with her sister, she could have told him, right? "Leah, even if you want to go home, you could have invited your sister in for a meal before leaving. Why did you have to leave like this? Sneaking home with your sister in the middle of the night? Did you think I would stop you? Do you not trust me that much? Did I do something wrong? Lost my love, everything is ruined." Because his wife ran away, Ron was moping and writing sappy little essays in his head. People can't switch their moods instantly. It takes time to dull strong emotions. Ron is a human, so he can't cheer up right away either. At least let him be sad for a while first, to ease his mood, before he can think about what to do next. But Mia obviously didn't want to give him that chance. She saw the big bulge on Ron's pants and thought of the stuff she saw Leah and Ron doing. Then her silly little face flushed red, and she tugged at Ron's pants. "Hey, what are you doing?" Ron was terrified. What the hell does this stupid cat want to do? This isn't a cat teaser, hello? Even if they're both stick-shaped, their functions are totally different. "Stupid cat!" Ron stepped back and quickly pulled up his underwear. He yelled at Mia panikedly, "Mia! What do you think you're doing to me?" Mia said nonchalantly, "I'm hungry, duh." "Huh?" Ron asked in shock. "Even if you're hungry, you can't do this." "Who told you not to make me breakfast? Besides what? Besides, why can't I do this? Ron is such a bully!" Hearing Mia's nonsense, Ron's face flushed bright red instantly. He asked, "You saw all of it?" "Mm-hmm. Idiot, she's different from you." "Leah was just..." Mia replied disdainfully. "What, what's the difference?" Ugh, Ron sighed. After Mia's little stunt, he was completely out of that sad mood now. He even felt hungry, and his body went weak for a second. So he patted the head of the still pouting cat and said to her, "Let's go. Let's go have breakfast." "Yay!" Mia cheered happily. Then she wagged her tail happily and followed Ron downstairs. After Ron finished making breakfast, he sat at the table and ate with Mia. He ate his breakfast absent-mindedly, carefully recalling everything from yesterday before Leah left. trying to figure out why Leah left without saying goodbye. He remembered when they were eating yesterday. After Leah saw that black spider, she cried, shook her head and trembled all over. Then putting that together with what Mia said. Leah left with her sister last night. Wait, did Leah actually run away from home? And her family found her now? So they took her back last night? Ron was flooded with regret. He thought he was such an idiot for not figuring out the truth until now. Leah was so innocent and naive, a rich young lady with zero life experience, obviously a sheltered, pure young girl who barely goes out. How would her family ever let her go out alone? To date freely? Of course she snuck out on her own, because she wanted to see the outside world. That's how she accidentally caused that whole disaster spider farce. And that was a total win for Ron too. He got the beautiful girl as his wife, plus 100 gold coins for free. Yeah, all of this was a total accident. Leah getting taken back by her family was inevitable. Oh no! Ron suddenly thought of something, and his face turned extremely pale. He realized, if Leah got together with him without her family's permission, and the family heads found out about it, what would happen to her? Besides, Leah told Ron before, her family is a long-established magic family. A huge, mysterious family like that must have super strict family rules, right? So, what kind of punishment and suffering would Leah have to go through? Thinking of this, Ron suddenly saw the light. He finally understood why Leah always was so eager and unreserved when he asked anything of her. She already knew what her fate would be. A sharp feeling of heartache rose from the bottom of Ron's heart. No, Ron couldn't let this happen. He had to find Leah right away and bring her back. No matter what, no matter how high the price is, he would bring Leah back and protect her properly, because Leah is his irreplaceable wife. So there was no time to waste. He couldn't stay for even a second. Every minute wasted meant more danger for Leah. He had to leave right now. Ron didn't even glance at the big cat that was happily eating next to him. He ran straight towards the stairs, then rushed straight into his room and started rummaging through everything. Next, fully armed Ron took enough travel money with him and went downstairs, getting ready to get his horse from the backyard and hit the road. He swung onto the horse in one move, whipped the horse and galloped out of the town. Only a little while later, Ron rode back to the door of his own tavern because he forgot to bring Mia, even though bringing Mia would slow him down on the road. After hesitating for a second, Ron immediately turned around and came back to pick Mia up and take her with him, because he also made a promise that he would never abandon this silly cat. Ron got off the horse and went back inside the tavern. He saw Mia was still focused on shoving food into her mouth nonstop. She didn't even notice he was gone earlier. Ron didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How did he end up with so many careless, carefree idiots around him? Ron walked up and pinched her ear and said to her, "Hey, stop eating right now. Mia, come with me quickly." "Where are we going?" "I haven't finished eating yet." Mia completely ignored what Ron said and kept on eating. Ron didn't dare waste any more time. He didn't care about anything else. He just picked Mia up by the waist and slung her over his shoulder. The silly cat could only struggle and protest weakly. Ron rode out of the town and galloped all the way south. He remembered what he and Leah talked about in the cave before. Leah mentioned then, her family lives in a castle in the southern forest. South, further south than the town. As long as he gets there, he will definitely find Leah. "I will definitely find you. Leah, you have to stay safe, okay?" With this strong belief driving him, Ron wanted to travel day and night without rest, non-stop around the clock. He didn't want to waste a single second, but his horses wouldn't let him do that. The horses only cared about eating grass. Ron's urgency didn't affect them at all. It's not their wife that was taken away after all. So the whole trip was stop and go. They ate when they needed to, drank when they needed to, and slept when they needed to. At this pace, it took almost 4 days of travel to get back to the small town that Ron knew well, the place he transmigrated into, the place where he took the quest and built his bond with Leah. After entering the town, Mia and the horse were both worn out. They definitely needed to rest. They really couldn't handle such intense travel. Not everyone is an Iron Man like Ron. Ron's physical fitness is straight up hacked. They don't have that kind of advantage. After Ron booked a room, Mia immediately collapsed onto the bed. The horse was also taken to the stable to rest. Ron went out to the street alone to buy dry rations and water. He suddenly thought of an old acquaintance, Shirley. After all, he took that quest from her. So I wonder how she's doing now. With those 2 gold coins, she should be living a pretty good life. As Ron walked, he arrived at the Adventurers Guild. He wanted to see this place where he used to struggle, and catch up with Shirley too. Ron walked in and looked around for ages. Everything here was still the same. All the familiar faces were there, minding their own business. Nobody noticed the great hero Ron had arrived. Whatever, Ron didn't feel like talking to them anyway. But after looking around for a long time, Ron still couldn't find Shirley. He figured, Shirley must have taken the 2 gold coins he gave her and gone off to live a comfortable life. That's for the best. After revisiting the old place, Ron was satisfied and turned to leave. Just then, a lady at the counter spotted Ron. She yelled out excitedly, "Is that Ron?" Ron subconsciously turned his head and glanced at her, which let her confirm it was really him. After the girl made eye contact with him, she knew for sure Ron had come. She immediately yelled, "It's Ron!" Her shout instantly drew all the other girls over. They crowded around Ron so tight there was no space to move. They all acted like they'd just seen a celebrity, screaming loudly in excitement, cheering Ron's name, and confessing their love to him like crazy. It's not surprising that Ron gets this kind of treatment. He was already the #1 master in the town, on top of being an infamous flirt. He'd proposed to almost every girl in town. Now he's also the hero who defeated the giant spider, and a rich man who got a 100 gold coin reward. With all these with all these great reputations added together, Ron became even more popular, but Ron didn't enjoy this treatment at all. He just found them super noisy. It's not that he has that "you ignored me before, now you're not good enough for me" mindset. It's just that Ron, after dating a stunning beauty like Leah, really doesn't think much of these plain girls in front of him. Ron looked at the crazy girls crowding around him, put on a cold face, and yelled, "So noisy, scram!" The fanatical girls froze for a few seconds after that, and obediently made a path for him. Then, they quietly watched Ron leave all by himself. After that, they burst into another round of cheers. Ron is so handsome. Yeah, a guy with money and strength is just that charming. Even when he's being mean, he can still be this popular. Ron went back to the inn. Mia was still totally exhausted. He couldn't wake her up no matter how he shook her. Since they couldn't keep traveling, Ron had to go out for a walk alone. There was also a place he wanted to check out. That was the cave outside the town, the place where Leah used to stay. Ron walked to the outside of the cave. He just stood outside the cave entrance, staring blankly. This place means a lot to him. This is where he met Leah for the first time, and also where they got married. The cave is still here today, but the person he loves is gone. Ron stroked the rock wall and muttered, "Things stay the same, but people don't."
But Leah, where are you?
The sight brought back so many memories for Ron. His eyes stung with tears. He held back his tears to keep them from falling, because now wasn't the time to cry. He had no time to waste. Leah might already be in a very dangerous situation. Thinking of this, Ron resolutely went back to the town, getting ready to wake Mia up. Of course, the silly cat refused to get up. He had no choice but to carry her on his shoulders and leave. So Ron continued on his journey, heading south. Who knows how many more days passed? Ron had no idea where he was anymore. Just then, right next to Ron, the lush green forest made a lot of noise. Ron looked over alertly. He saw small groups of 3 to 5 scattered people walking out of the woods, all dressed in tattered rags. They looked completely exhausted and totally disheveled, like displaced refugees. Most importantly, they don't even seem to be human, because they have ears on top of their heads, just like the silly cat Ron keeps. "Mia, come here," Ron yelled at Mia, who was catching fish in the river. The big cat heard his call, twitched its ears, and ran right up to Ron. "What's wrong?" "Oh, it's so dumb no matter how many times I see it." Ron looked at the silly cat in front of him, and didn't feel like making any extra comments. He pointed at that group of people, and asked her, "Do you know these people?" Unexpectedly, after Mia saw them, she screamed out excitedly, "It's everyone!" Mia teared up and walked up to them, and started chatting with those wandering bestier folks. They really are her relatives. Ron saw that Mia had finally reunited with her own people. All the big cats, little cats, and old cats meowed nonstop for a while, and then started crying. To be honest, this scene actually looked pretty touching. But the next line someone said almost made Ron throw out his back.